Let's move on to the New York Giants. I have enjoyed enormously shitting all over Eli Manning. I don't know why. I don't know why it brings me this great, great joy, but it does. And I wonder if this year the Giants could possibly surprise. Their win total is at 6.5 in my book, under a -160, over a +130. 11-1 to win the division, 33-1 to win the conference, 66-1 to win the Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley, most rushing yards at +300. No Odell Beckham. Sterling Shepard, Corey Coleman, Golden Tate are good enough. Not a lot of height, but they're good. They're good receivers. The problem was never the wide receivers. The problem was Eli Manning. Hopefully Daniel Jones gets a shot. I don't know exactly what to make of Daniel Jones when he gets the shot. They have Evan Ingram, a very good tight end. Saquon Barkley will be a workhorse. Is the defense improved? It has to be, I guess. We know it should be in a couple of years. Last year's third-rounder, defensive end B.J. Hill, another year under his belt. First-rounder Dexter Lawrence comes from Clemson. They need more from Janoris Jenkins. Antoine Bethea coming in from Arizona. Is he going to help? Jabril Peppers comes in from Cleveland, gets his gun stolen by a woman who turns up dead. It's great, great stuff.
What?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that story.
That is that's great stuff that I can't wait to talk about all year long. Donnie Rightside, the New York Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's probably going to be on the same page here with the New York Giants in the longevity because nothing they do makes any sense whatsoever. And you guys all know I'm an Eagles fan, right? When I would line up or we would be on Sundays and have to break down a game with the Giants, the only thing in my mind was, boy, this wide receiving core lights us up every single year because Odell Beckham is an unstoppable force, a once-in-a-lifetime wide receiver that your team needs in a passing league, keep in mind, in the NFL. But the Giants are so dumb, they sign guys to huge deals, then burn all those cap dollars, trading them away, and say, you know what? Our chance to finally get a quarterback, we don't have to expend all this money or trade up. Let's just go out and take a running back and have our GM explain it to us like, well, he was the best guy on the board at the time. It's not the way you win in the National Football League. I like it as an Eagles fan because it keeps the Giants that much lower. But when we're talking about Eli Manning, even as a quarterback, he's a shot fighter. He's been a shot fighter for 5 years. How many times in the last 2 years have the Giants been in a close game where they have the ball in the red zone and they didn't even let Eli throw the football for fear that he's probably going to turn it over, and they definitely wanted to get points? It's amazing to see the evolution of the Giants with absolutely no battle cry moving forward that says, here's our stake. And then you go and draft a quarterback that some people don't even rate as a first-round pick or an upper-level echelon starter in the NFL, and then you're going to sit back and say, we would love Eli to play another 3 years here in New York. Nothing makes sense of what they're doing in moving forward in the NFL. When you take a look at their defense, which is the problem, they were 14th in the NFC, not in the NFL, 14th in the NFC, and they trade away their heart and soul in the secondary, Landon Collins, who goes to a division rival down in Washington, and their only pass rushing threat over to Cleveland, which stacks them up. So now you're telling me we're not explosive on offense. Now we can just key in on your running back. Your offensive line has been underperforming for years, and a quarterback that's stuck in cement that throws nonstop interceptions and never makes the right read anymore. And you sit back and say, I think we're on the right path here. The Giants are rudderless. I don't want any piece of. Having said that, they're still going to hover right around the win total that they have because it is the NFL. But nothing makes sense. And is Daniel Jones going to come in week 8, 9, 10? Or if you get out to a 4-4 start like we talked about, hey, let's let it ride it out to see if we can make the playoffs, which you know they're not going to make. The Giants are in some serious trouble this year and moving forward. Good luck.
How much fun is the New York Giants going to be capping all year long? Whale capper, the Giants.
So, yeah, if you want to handicap their season win totals or, you know, if you're trying to make a bet on the Giants, you have to kind of come to some conclusion about what's going to happen with the quarterback position first. It's pretty clear that Gettleman has been talking himself up into Eli Manning still has it based on what you read, what he said in this offseason. It's pretty funny that they drafted Daniel Jones where they drafted him, which was an enormous reach. It's pretty funny that the Eli Manning's camp put a stamp of approval on Daniel Jones, knowing that he wouldn't threaten Eli in competition throughout minicamp, throughout the preseason, throughout probably this whole first season. I think Daniel Jones clearly not ready to take snaps as a starter in the National Football League, and it's going to be apparent to a guy like Pat Shurmur who knows football well. He's been around a long time. He's a fine coach, and I think from my perspective, handicapping this team, I'm expecting you are going to see 16 games from Eli Manning unless he gets hurt. And I think Daniel Jones probably put a pin in him until 2020. So what does it mean then if Eli Manning is trotting out there for 16 games? He's not going to put up the numbers he put up last year because Odell Beckham Jr. is gone. He's not going to be a quarterback who wins you games where you're down, who does impressive things to put you in position to win games that you shouldn't win, right? So, right away, look at their schedule and you can probably cross off like 5-6 games right away, L's, okay? The rest of their schedule, they got some home games. They have Saquon Barkley. We talked about this, I feel like, a bunch last year. I know for sure I did on our podcast. Drafting Saquon Barkley second was a fine decision if you want to be 8-8 for the next 8 years. Like you bought yourself 64 wins over the next 8 years by drafting Barkley. He's a generational talent. He's LaDainian Tomlinson, Adrian Peterson, Barry Sanders, whatever comparison you want to make. Guess what? None of those guys went to the playoffs and won playoff games because they were just good enough that you kept your team from being able to make solid draft picks, but not good enough because they're running backs and they play in a passing league to be, effectively, the make or break players in terms of winning enough games to get to the playoffs or winning games once you get to the playoffs. This is a problem now for the Giants to deal with. They'll never be bad enough to really overhaul their roster. They'll never be good enough to win a playoff game. So just kind of like the Dallas Cowboys are in purgatory where they're kind of right in those wild card spots, kind of on the playoff bubble for the next couple of years. I see the Giants on the other side of the bubble for the next couple of years, probably winning 6-7 games every year, probably seeing, maybe they go a good season for them, a winning season for them is an 8-8 season. Eli Manning goes out as having not had a losing season his final year as the starter in the Giants and rides off into the sunset. They start Daniel Jones next year, and who knows what kind of success they have. But, so I think the bar is low for them in terms of success. If you're going to make a play on them season win total, it's probably the over because they have a pretty easy schedule. They have Saquon Barkley. The only thing you can realistically say about this team, if you're going to try to get involved in the prop market or something like that, we're going to see rushing yardage props, leaders. We're going to see total yardage prop leaders, leader props. Saquon Barkley is probably a good look at those. He's going to get more usage than any other player in the NFL this year. If you're in season-long fantasy, he's the no doubt 1.1 pick off the board, and in the fantasy space, and I don't think that's really an argument. But the franchise is on the wrong side of improving to the point where they're making the playoffs, and I think until the fans kind of really put pressure to get Gettleman out and get someone who's kind of a forward thinker in terms of building a roster in, I don't think you can expect the Giants to be competing for the NFC East anytime soon.
I agree with that immensely. And Jabril Peppers is not a suspect, by the way.
Good. That's good. As I laughed, and I was like, oh, wait, is he should I not be laughing? This sounds bad. This could be bad.
He's not a suspect. Okay, that is your NFC East.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.